Have you ever just marveled at how a large language model can learn a brand new task from just a couple of examples you pop into the prompt? I mean, it really does feel like some kind of magic trick. Well, today we are going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how it's done. So here's the central mystery we're really digging into. You give an AI a few examples, and it adapts, like, instantly. But, and this is the crazy part, its core programming, its fundamental weights and parameters, they don't change one bit. So what is actually going on inside that digital mind? All right, so this whole phenomenon has a name. It's called in-context learning, or ICL for short. And honestly, it's one of the most powerful and, frankly, most puzzling abilities of modern AI. Understanding this is the key to unlocking what they can really do.
Okay, so the thing you've got to remember is this. There is no slow, deliberate training happening here. The AI isn't going back to school to learn a new subject. It is figuring things out on the fly, using only the context you give it in that one single moment.
You know, researchers have this brilliant way of putting it. They call it learning in the forward pass. What that means is all the learning happens in that single shot it takes for the AI to process your prompt and spit out a response. It's totally instantaneous, and it's temporary.
To really get our heads around this, let's start with an analogy that we're all super familiar with, our own memory. This is really the key that unlocks the whole idea.
I mean, we don't access our memories like a computer searching a database, right? Our minds work in this much more fluid, kind of interconnected way. Think about it. You know, the smell of cookies baking, a song from when you were a kid, or hearing some long-forgotten inside joke. These simple little cues, they don't make you relearn the memory, they just make it pop right to the surface. They bring a very specific piece of information from the depths of your mind right to the front, ready to go. It's an incredibly powerful retrieval system.
And there's a name for this, of course. It's called associative memory. It's the brain's amazing ability to link things together and use one little piece of information as a key to unlock a totally different one. The cue itself doesn't contain the memory, it just points the way.
So, how in the world does this connect back to AI? Well, here's the kicker. It turns out this isn't just some loose analogy. Cutting-edge research is now showing that large language models operate on a very, very similar principle.
Right at the heart of every transformer model, you have the attention mechanism. Now, we usually think of it as just deciding which words to focus on, but new research is framing it as something way more fundamental, a memory retrieval system.
And this quote just brilliantly illustrates the point. A Hopfield network is a classic model from neuroscience, and it was literally designed to mimic associative memory. So what this quote is telling us is that mathematically, the AI's attention mechanism is a Hopfield network. It's not just like a memory system, it functionally is one.
So let's just make the difference crystal clear. Model training is that slow, painstaking process of building the AI's entire knowledge base. That's the permanent stuff. In-context learning, on the other hand, is the lightning-fast, temporary process of just retrieving the right piece of that knowledge for a very specific task. So if the AI isn't learning, but it's remembering, how do the examples in a prompt actually help it remember the right thing? Well, this is where the core idea of this new research really comes into play.
The central mechanism has this awesome name, in-context memory reshaping. The prompt doesn't add new information to the AI's memory. What it does is temporarily change the shape of the memory itself.
Okay, so let's walk through this because it's really cool. Imagine the AI's entire knowledge base as this huge, sprawling landscape with hills and valleys. Your prompt, the examples you provide, it acts like a force that temporarily pushes down on certain areas, creating these brand new temporary valleys. And now the most relevant memories for your task are sitting at the bottom of these new valleys, making them the easiest, most natural things for the AI to find and use.
So, look, that is a fantastic theory, but does it actually hold up in the real world? Well, the researchers put it to the test, and what they found was that this whole memory reshaping model perfectly explains some really well-known behaviors of in-context learning. I mean, this single theory explains 3 key things that we see all the time. Why bad examples give you bad results, why relevant examples work so much better, and why AIs get totally confused by things they've just never seen anything like before. Let's take a quick look at the data. First up, accuracy. If you give the model incorrect examples, it's like giving it bad directions. It reshapes that memory landscape in completely the wrong way, which makes it way harder to find the right answer. And as you can see, performance just takes a nosedive when the examples are flawed. And then there's similarity. The more your examples look like your final question, the more precisely they reshape that memory landscape.
It's kind of like using a perfectly shaped key to unlock a specific memory. Higher similarity, as you'd expect, leads to a much better result.
So what does all this mean for us, for the people actually using these tools? Well, it gives us a completely new and, frankly, a much more accurate way to think about how we interact with them.
This right here is the ultimate takeaway. Prompting isn't teaching, it's guiding. You are essentially acting like a guide, helping the AI find the right book in its own vast library of knowledge. Your job is just to provide the best possible clues.
And that's really why this all matters so much. By understanding that we are reshaping an associative memory, we can start to design way better prompts. And that leads to more accurate, more reliable, and ultimately just more useful AI systems for everybody.
You know, this whole shift in perspective from being a teacher to being a memory guide, it just opens up a whole new world of possibilities. It forces us to think not just about what we're asking, but about how our questions are actively changing the way an AI thinks. The future isn't just about building smarter AIs, it's about all of us becoming much, much smarter prompters.